You know that feeling when you're just staring at a blank screen, totally unable to start a project? Or avoiding that messy kitchen you just cannot bring yourself to clean? Well, I've got a truth bomb for you today that is literally going to change how you see yourself. You aren't lazy. That struggle with procrastination, it's actually a fascinating, completely biological survival response. Seriously, we have all been there. You're staring at that blank document, or maybe a towering pile of laundry, and it feels physically paralyzing, right? We end up spinning our wheels asking, why can't I just get moving? What's wrong with me? We carry around this massive weight, feeling like we're dragging the entire world behind us, just totally stuck. Okay, let's just shatter a major myth right off the bat. The myth that you have a motivation problem. The actual truth, which was revealed by the incredible trauma expert Dr. Nadine Burke, is that you're experiencing a biological takeover of your nervous system. She calls this having a bear in the room. Listen, it's not a character flaw, it is pure biology. So, Section 1, the bear in the room. Let's dig into exactly what this bear is and what a biological shutdown actually means for your body. To really understand the bear, we gotta look inside the brain. Just imagine you're walking through a quiet forest and suddenly, boom, you see a massive grizzly bear. Instantly, your amygdala, which acts as your brain's biological alarm system, sounds the siren. It just floods your body with survival hormones, specifically adrenaline and cortisol. It's pumping blood straight to your muscles so you can either fight for your life or run for the hills.
And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the complication here. To help you survive that literal bear, your amygdala does something incredibly drastic. It completely turns off your prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain right behind your forehead that's responsible for judgment, impulse control, getting organized, executive functioning. Because biologically speaking, the absolute last thing your brain wants you to do when a huge bear is charging at you is to overthink it or, make a to-do list. It sacrifices logic for pure survival. Your willpower completely shut down.
Moving on to Section 2, your brain under stress. This is where we look at how the survival mechanisms of our ancient ancestors are totally backfiring on us today. So here is the massive problem we run into. Your brain literally cannot tell the difference between an actual physical bear in the woods and a modern bear. To your amygdala, a mountain of debt, a toxic boss, or literally just a tray of unwashed dishes registers as the exact same mortal threat. Seriously, your brain treats that messy kitchen like it's going to eat you alive. So what happens? It sounds the alarm, pumps the cortisol, and completely shuts down your prefrontal cortex. It turns off your willpower and logic at the exact moment you need them the most to actually solve the problem. Wild, right? Which brings us to Section 3, the stress teeter-totter. Because you can't simply power through your own biology, we need a solid model from trauma science to figure out how to manage this. Imagine your body's stress response as a teeter-totter balanced on a fulcrum. On one side, you have stress and adversity, basically the heavy weight of all those modern bears. Now, when that side goes crashing down under the weight of overwhelm, we usually can't just magically remove the stressor. You can't snap your fingers and make debt disappear, right? So instead, we have to deliberately add weight to the opposite side of the teeter-totter to find balance. In trauma science, actively adding this positive weight is called buffering. Okay, Section 4, 3 steps to reset. Let's get into the solutions and check out Dr. Burke actual playbook for buffering this stress. We've got 3 distinct, heavily research-backed steps to reset your nervous system, overcome that amygdala hijack, and finally flip the switch on your logic and willpower back to the on position. Step 1 is what we call the I'm here method. Dr. Burke points out that a regulated presence is the ultimate antidote to fear. But the catch? You have to be that regulated presence for yourself. This means starting your day with practices that actually physically calm your nervous system. We're talking mindfulness, journaling, a bit of exercise, or maybe just spending 20 minutes outside in nature. By doing this, you're basically looking at your terrified internal self, that part of you that is screaming about the bear and saying, hey, I'm here, we are safe. You're actively reaching up and turning off that alarm siren. Now, a truly fascinating piece of this puzzle is the stress buffering hypothesis. Science tells us that when we isolate ourselves when we're stressed, our bodies actually release even more cortisol. But research proves that human connection literally, biologically, reduces that cortisol. Simply getting a hug or having a quick 10-minute phone call with a calm friend actively buffers that stress pathway. So look, when you're overwhelmed, whatever you do, don't isolate. Call a safe person who isn't going to overreact. It physically quells the stress right out of your body so you can actually think clearly again. And finally, we have the Hot 15 rule. When you're completely paralyzed by the bear, please don't try to fix your entire life all at once. Don't try to write the whole book, or deep clean the entire house, or lose 50 pounds by Tuesday. That's just going to trigger the alarm all over again. Instead, just commit to 15 minutes. Put on your sneakers and literally just walk to the end of the driveway. Just focus on laying one single brick. This matters so much because, well, we usually sit around waiting to feel motivated before we act. But the science of achieving goals proves the exact opposite is true. Action actually precedes motivation. Once you take that tiny 15-minute step, your brain realizes, oh, okay, we're safe, and boom, the prefrontal cortex engages. Every small action you take isn't just a bit of progress, it's a literal vote for the identity of the exact person you want to become. Finally, we arrive at Section 5, from survival to thriving. It's time to bring all of this science together and completely rewrite the story of our own potential. Look, I really want you to let this next takeaway sink in. You are not lazy. You do not lack willpower. Your brain is simply doing exactly what it was brilliantly designed to do. It's trying to keep you alive. You are not broken, you are just built for survival. But now that you actually know how the machinery under the hood works, you have the exact playbook you need to buffer that alarm response. To wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Now that you know how to calm your amygdala and switch your logic center back on, what is the very first 15-minute step you are going to take today to face your bear? Remember, you hold the power to rewrite your story. You don't have to just survive anymore. You've got the tools to start thriving. Thanks for exploring this with me, and seriously, go take that 15-minute step right now.